And good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Around Rose Podcast Nation. Um, Normally the real host of the show, John Blaine, welcomes everybody with his normal happy-go-lucky peppy self. But tonight, unfortunately, it's not that type of episode. As over the weekend, a mere 48 hours ago, the independent wrestling community, not only in the state of New York, but in Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Florida, even parts of Puerto Rico, lost a pretty big name in professional wrestling. So he is arguably one of the best big men in wrestling. Someone that I've known for a long time, almost 15 years, actually, pretty much the entirety of my career. The remix of pro wrestling, the Jurassic Juggernaut, Vince Steele. And I'm already starting already tonight. So what we're doing tonight on this episode, we're not going to talk about WWE. We're not going to talk about AEW, TNA. We're not going to talk about any of that. What we are going to talk about tonight is Vince Steele. Any memories, stories, any way that we can to honor the legacy of someone that has touched mostly everyone's hearts. And there will be some other people coming on as well, sharing their stories and their memories. And quick side note, there is a GoFundMe that's going on right now for Vince's family. I know I'm taking over, John. I do apologize. There is a GoFundMe that went up literally 36 hours ago. It's already at $11,000 the last time I checked, which is first of all insane. But the one thing that I've noticed on GoFundMe is the names that are popped up on there. There were two names that drew my attention immediately, and I'm gonna call them out because, well, it's public knowledge and it's shown there. Both of these individuals donated $1,000. The first individual is the owner of Brii Combination Wrestling himself, Anthony Cole. And the second individual, and John, you don't know about this, but I do, is none other than a living legend in the wrestling community, Chris Jericho.
Really?
I saw that before I hopped on a little while ago, and wow. I was in complete shock. I was like, wow. So that right there just proves how much of an influence Vince Steele had, how much of an impact he had in wrestling as a whole. A guy who's been wrestling for almost 25 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, John. Go right ahead.
Oh, no,
I'm
you're
all
good.
done with the intro. So, and also, folks, if you have any stories, any comments that are tuning in, if you got any stories, memories, any, please leave them in the comments. And again, tonight's not supposed to be a somber thing. It's a celebration. That's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree with you 100% on that. And looks like we got... Oh, okay. Benjamin.
Benny, what's up, man?
Ben, dude, our thoughts and prayers are with you. I was with you there on Sunday when you got the news. And tonight we're going to celebrate it. The big man, like Ryan said. And being that it's been 48 hours now since all the events transpired on Sunday.
Yeah.
This is still incredibly tough to talk about. And I said this, Ryan, to you before we even went on. I've been doing this for 13 years. Mostly sports, but obviously I've been doing the show now for the last 3 years, going on 4 years this November. And I've always said doing certain shows is tough. and doing certain doing stuff like, doing certain shows are tough. But when everything transpired on Sunday, I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit. Nobody came up to me and said for me to do that. Nobody came up to me and said, hey, could you do an in memoriam show? I took it upon myself, and I was like, you know what? We have to honor him.
First of all, if anyone came up to you and asked you to do an in memoriam show, right there, whoever that individual would have been is heartless.
Yeah, I literally thought about it myself, and I went to everybody later Sunday night, and I was like, look, I'm doing one. If you're interested in joining, you're more than welcome to. And pretty much everybody said yes, because that's how much he meant. And
well, I can tell you the folks how I found out.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Because I wasn't at Brii Combination Wrestling when it happened, but I was getting ready to announce Create a Pro this past Sunday, and John calls me. Now, normally he never calls me unless it's something like really, really bad. Now, I'm going to be straightforward, John. I thought it was something wrong with either you or Amanda, your girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But when you called me and told me what happened, I was in distraught. I'm like, please tell me you're joking. And I've never heard you so quiet in my entire life.
Yeah, it was the images in my head. First of all, I have to give a shout out to everybody who was in that building that day when everything was happening. It was people and Brian, you've been in that building a lot longer than I have.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen that building move as fucking quick as it did on Sunday. I'll put it this way. When everything initially happened and Kevin turned around and told the people, now, for the people at home, I'm going to have to describe this. Ryan, you know the layout of that building, right?
Yes.
You walk up those initial steps. I think you walk up the second set of steps. You know the chairs that they usually put right. Sometimes that's usually hard cam side.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know when Magic runs in that building, they usually keep that as the hard cam side.
Basically, it's the other little entranceway into the main hall.
Yes, and Kevin told me this when we were at the. Kevin told me this afterwards. He didn't have to say a word, and chairs were flying away because nobody knew what was going on at first. At first, nobody had an idea what was going on. And I know she's going to hate it that I'm going to give her credit for this. But the one who called 911
was Amanda.
And she was up there when everything happened. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to pull back the curtain here a little bit. I was not upstairs when everything initially happened. I was downstairs because for the pre-show, Brii Combination decided to start doing a Come Unknown, Leave Unforgettable match.
Mm-hmm.
And we were downstairs, myself and two other gentlemen who I'll talk about them later on. We were filming Who Won. And all of a sudden now, Ryan, you know the setup of that downstairs area.
Mm-hmm.
You know how the bar connects. I don't remember who it was, comes running through that door and says somebody called 911. They think Vince is having a heart attack. And I think everybody kind of stood still for a second and the first person who I saw sprint across that locker room was Mark Schwann. And my biggest concern, obviously, was with Vince. My bigger concern that night was with Amanda because I know how she handles certain things. And once I heard what was going on, I was like, she's going to be a fucking mess. And guys, yes, I know it's not normal for us to curse so much, but this is our raw emotions to what happened. And these are what was going through our heads when everything was transpiring. Because again, they don't teach you this stuff. So where normally these shows are normally fun and excitement, I'm going to be honest right now, I don't know what the direction the show's going to be tonight because I've never been in this position. But, and hopefully, because Amanda does have the link, hopefully she'll join us because I definitely would love to get her take, being that she was upstairs and basically saw everything.
If she wants to come
on.
If
she wants to, absolutely. That's the one thing also I want to make abundantly clear. Anybody who is coming on tonight, I did not force them to come on. I did not coerce them. I just put it as this is your way, my way, Ryan's way, all of our ways of honoring the Jurassic Juggernaut himself.
Pretty much on this show, there is no actual door on the hinge. It's just an open hole that anyone is allowed to come in and out as they please.
Yeah. I'll put it this way. For one night, we're all Jurassic Juggernauts. But like I said, we're going to have people hopping in and out. But Ryan, you were actually, when everything happened initially.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Oh, speaking of our first guest has arrived.
Does it begin with the letter S?
No. This is the one who made that initial phone call.
Oh, she did come on.
Yeah, she did. Guys, I want to bring into the show my girlfriend, Amanda, but the woman who basically made that infamous call on Sunday. Hey, Amanda.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
All right, so obviously you were upstairs when everything happened.
Tell the viewer in the best way that you can, if you're able to, Amanda. Please describe the viewers your perspective on what transpired, if you can. John, mute yourself.
Why
I'm going to do the same for myself too.
I think it's to him to behave. I'll put it this way. It happened really fast. They were in the middle of a match, and the match was like any other match. And he was doing what he normally does, and then the next thing you know, he went down. And then it all went downhill from there. It happened really fast.
And Amanda, let me ask you this now. When you called, was there trying to figure out the best way to phrase this? Could you tell before? Because I think you had told me that afternoon you were one of the first people who kind of could tell that something legit was happening.
Yeah.
Was there a sign that you like? Just kind of take us through like what you saw that kind of made you realize, oh shit.
He literally was trying to grab for air, and he couldn't grab for air fast enough.
Amanda, not to cut you off for a second, but there is a question that we just got in the chat, Ryan, from Benny. I just want to pull this question up.
Absolutely.
Ben, go right ahead.
Benny,
You have that honor. Don't even worry about it.
Benny, you really have to ask? Really? Come on, man.
I agree with Benny.
But Amanda, first of all, I have to, from the entire wrestling world, I think people should owe you a huge thank you for having the wherewithals. I forgot the word I'm looking for.
John, allow me to cut in. As
Go ahead.
someone who is a part of the wrestling community, I commend you for taking the immediate action on doing what needed to be done, immediately call 911, the whole ordeal and whatnot. Pretty much taking that first initial move to at least like attempt to, I guess, regain the situation. So I commend you for
Listen,
doing that.
I am, and John, you know this because you're in the same job as me, being in the schools. When you're in the schools, and even John, you sorry, I can't even put more so John, but you saw it with my mom. But mine, you would see it, you would know with your mom, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
But being in the schools, dealing with your mom who was sick, me dealing with my mom who is sick, you have to have, you see a lot of signs a lot faster than people who don't deal with family members or anyone in their life who's sick or working with kids the way we do. And we see the signs a lot faster than a lot of other people. A lot of different signs, a lot faster. So we know, okay, this is what's happening. It clicks right away for us a lot differently.
We basically, as try to summarize for those that are trying to still not comprehend, but trying to understand like what Amanda was referring to. We've been in situations where we know how to react. We've seen it. We've dealt with it. We've seen it. We know exactly what to do.
Exactly.
Just wanted to summarize it for those viewers that still probably didn't understand where you were coming from. So
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
No, and like I said, and Amanda, not only does Ryan want to say thank you, but Mark also, I'm just going to read through the comments here quickly. Mark said, I want to say thank you to Amanda for trying to get Vince help.
Well, also, wasn't there someone else that kind of screamed at the same time that he was having a heart attack, initiating that call?
We don't know who that was.
That was Sophia.
Okay.
It was Sophia. It was Sophia who, from what I was told, it was Sophia who yelled he was having a heart attack, and that's what made you. That's what also initialed you to make the call. So both you and Sophia should both be, comprehending for at least knowing, trying to get help right away.
Right. Because I never heard, I never heard if it was Sophia. I never heard her say that. I never heard anyone say that. When I saw him go down and trying to grasp for air, that automatically triggered in my brain, and I called right away to call.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. And even Jumbo Ref here,
Jumbo
James,
Man agrees.
who's a custodian worker, I think, said, as a ref, I'm going to retrain on CPR.
He's gonna get reimagine with CPR training. Honestly, I may actually hop on the CPR training myself.
And also, here's the other thing. Also, I got to give Amanda kudos for, because not only was she the one who called 911 initially, but fast forward a little bit to when we were all at the hospital, and Mike Morgan came out and told us the news. The first person who went to go consult Benny's wife, because they were busy trying to get Benny off the floor, was Amanda. Amanda yelled at me, and Amanda, I don't know if you remember this part of what happened on Sunday. You yelled at me to get her a bottle of water.
Yeah.
And you threw $2 at me, and for some reason that machine did not take cash. So I turned around, I took the money out of my own pocket. I used my own card. I was like, you know what? Screw it. And you looked at me like, but I want you. I'm like, no. I'm like, because of what happened, no. So, Amanda, I think it's safe to say you were...
We needed her to calm down and to relax and not go into labor that day. She was too early.
Yes, because she is 8 months pregnant.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was too early for her to go into labor.
Yeah. But, Amanda, I will say this much, though. They always say every situation has its unsung heroes.
You're one of them.
You are definitely one of them. Because while I was people were trying to call me to find out what happened, because I had quite a few people who were reaching out to me. And this even before, like, the companies were even talking about it. Like, I had several people who were messaging me saying, hey, what the hell happened? Yeah. Amanda was there helping any which way she could. And I feel like we don't say these words a lot. And if we say it, we don't mean it. But I think I can say this now. Amanda, I'm personally, as your boyfriend, well, let me phrase this way. As somebody who is part of the wrestling world, like Ryan said, I'm very grateful.
Just not as long as me. I'm kidding.
As your boyfriend, I am very proud of you and love you even more now than I did before.
Thank you for pretty much to sum it all up. Thank you for being a part of the potential help in that. So now I think we need to move on to the positives on all this. It's supposed to be a celebration.
Yes.
It's supposed to be a celebration. So let's talk about some memories. Anybody out there that have any memories and whatnot, any stories they can tell, by all means, leave them in the comments. And obviously waiting for the guests to come on. Yes, John, I know you're waiting to say something.
Well, I was going to say, Amanda, did you want to promote next week's show?
Really?
No. John.
No.
Really?
I'm just saying.
Not the time.
No.
Okay.
Not the time, dude.
Not the time.
That was my fault.
Respectfully, not the time or place.
That was my fault. I'm sorry. But
if you want to hear the announcement, wait until either tomorrow or Thursday, because tonight it's all about Vince Steele.
Yes.
Yes,
I agree on that. And again, I apologize for that.
So, John, I know you got a story or two.
Yeah. Oh, do I ever. One of my first introductions to Vince Steele.
And actually, John, you talk. I will be right back, folks.
Okay. One of my first introductions to Vince Steele was through Ace Entertainment Wrestling, which is a fantastic
American
company.
Championship Entertainment.
I thought you were going somewhere, Ryan.
I was about to get up, and then you said the name wrong. I'm like, I feel embarrassed. I'm gonna correct you. American Championship Entertainment.
Yes, Ace. And they had a match. They were doing a storyline with Vince Steele and Absolute Alvin Alvarez. And yes, James, I know. Cheap plugs, I know. Bad timing on my end on that part. But It was a fans bring the weapons match. And this was the night where Vince won the Ace Heavyweight title. And the biggest moments I remember from this match were the spot where the pizza got delivered midway through the match. The spot where Vince the spot where Vince went to go take the baseball bat filled with nails.
Yep.
Swung, Alvin ducked. I think he got stuck into the ring post, if I remember correctly.
It did.
And then, if I remember correctly, Ryan, the finish of that match was, didn't Vince kind of stumble onto Alvin to get the win?
Oh, he apparently got knocked down and just fell on top of Alvin, and I was like, I can't get up.
And that building popped for that moment because, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, Alvin was on a long title reign.
So the story they were running at the time was Alvin won the title right before the pandemic. It was at Crossroads 2019 where he won the battle royal where winner gets a title shot anytime they can for any of the Ace titles. And he cashed in on Crossroads that year. And then the pandemic happened, and the running gag was he was the longest reigning Ace champion of all time, but yet he barely had any defenses.
Yeah. And that building popped when Vince won. And if I remember correctly, I think the crowd chants broke down to "Let's go, Vince, let's go, Alvin." But it was like deafening in that building.
When Vince won the title, that building erupted like Hulk Hogan just came back, like the Ultimate Warrior just came back from the dead.
Yes. We do got our first story here from Merck. Ryan, would you like the honors of reading it?
Sure, I would love to. So Merck, who I've known through Ace through a long time, he says, I do have a moment with Vinny. It was when my dad passed away. He was the first person to message me and say anything I need, or if I need someone to talk to, he was there for me. And that showed me the type of person Vinny was. Merck, I'm gonna piggyback on that as well and say that he did the same thing for me when my mother passed 5 years ago. That's just the type of person Vince was. Like when you see him, in person, you see this really big dude, and everyone's like, especially like short, smaller people are afraid of him, are looking at him and go like, oh no, he's gonna be scary. But then when you look at him, he's like a massive giant teddy bear.
Yes. I still remember, Brian, I don't know if this was Ace. It may have been Ace, actually. He took on Wrecking Bull.
Mm-hmm.
That was Ace, right?
That was last year.
Yeah. I remember when they both entered into the ring. I don't remember if I said it. I think I may have said it to you afterwards. I'm like, I give that ring a ton of credit for handling that much.
Listen, those two had a great match.
Yeah. Oh no, they definitely did. And one other one I had was Vince's match he had back in December when he took on Anthony Gangone at Brii. And the fact that he took a chair spot from Gangone and sold it like he got hit by a ton of bricks is incredible. Now, obviously, my experiences with Vince are a lot different than Ryan's experiences. So, Ryan, I guess I'll start off with this. What was the first interaction you and Vince Steele had?
So, I started going to Ace back in 2012 as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Beginning of 2012, that was when they unfortunately just lost the Ace Arena in in Union City, New Jersey, and then they moved to Wallington, New Jersey. And went there as a fan, check it out. That was like one of my first Jersey indie shows I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of blast. I remember a couple of matches on that card because I think I have the DVD still from that show, I think. But the main event in that show for the Ace Heavyweight title was, back then he was known as Stockade, the current champion, Jorge Luis Rivera, and another individual that some of you in the wrestling community may know by the name of Eddie Kingston.
Oh, shit. Okay.
That's going way back. My first interaction with him, was a great dude, and also he teamed with another gentleman by the name two gentlemen by the name of Bull James, and some of you may know this individual as Bill Carr, but he's known as I forgot who he is now, but he is the taller out of the Righteous.
Oh, Dutch, yeah.
Yep. And those three and Stockade were known as the New Age Wrecking Crew. And I seen Vinny having matches there. Always kept going back there more, with my mother and then a friend of mine kept going back to Wallington all the time. Love that place. Started talking to some of the boys in the back. Started talking to Mike. Hanging out with the family and whatnot. And then in 2000 and I think one of the memorable matches for me was, I think 2 months before I actually debuted for Ace. It was Destined for Greatness. I think it was 20. Thank you, McGrady. It was Dutch. Thank you. It was Destined for Greatness 2013. It was a tag team called The Movement, which it was Jamal Jackson and the Fat Nasty Bastard FNB taking on the team of Bull James and Vince Steele for the Ace Tag Team Championships in a ladder match. And Vince was the one that climbed the ladder.
Oh, shit.
That match was brutal on itself because of how intense, and especially in that building in Wallington. Oh, my God. So now fast forward to May 2013, where I officially debuted for Ace, and my first time talking with him. And again, I was scared shitless. And he was one of the first, but he was like one of the first people like outside of the New York wrestling scene when I first started. He was one of the first people that, was welcoming. He gave me the biggest freaking hug. Like, he almost choked me. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what are you doing me, teddy bear? And then there was one match where it was my first Crossroads, which by the way, you could Crossroads. Oh, okay, bye, Amanda. Crossroads is Ace's version of WrestleMania. One of the matches on there was FNB against Vince Steele in a New York City street fight. Now, Vince is supposed to be the bad guy in this match. He was, he's supposed to be, this vicious and brutal and whatnot. In typical Vince Steele way, which I think is absolutely hilarious. He's, he's getting so angered up. He's like, he takes, I think it was like a piece of a chair or whatnot. He throws it out of the ring. It rolls out. It flies out, and it accidentally hits someone in the leg in the front row. He's like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Are you okay? I'm like, he breaks character in the middle of the match.
We have another guest joining us.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to tell my other stories, but go on.
You're okay. Fellow podcaster, the one, the only, Papa Dank.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Papa Dank.
How are you? I know we're all sad about Vince's loss this last weekend.
Yeah.
So I wanted to come on and just give my condolences to his family, his friends, obviously you guys who all knew him. Mm-hmm. I didn't know him like that, but I remember seeing him at Brii and other shows, Ace. Just, quick hello. Really nice guy. But I'm very, very, very sad for all my friends and of course his family and his friends as well who are affected by this.
Do you have any memories or stories you want to share from your from like anything that you've seen from Vince?
Just like some of the matches he had were really, really good. I remember it was him and another big guy in the ring, and I felt like the ring was gonna collapse when they wrestled each other. Like, oh fuck, that ring's gonna go down. But just always hearing good stuff. He was on my list of guys that I wanted to have come on my own show, my own platform, and it just never happened. As so many things happen in this business. But I was supposed to be with you, John, at that show, and I just couldn't get out of work. But I was supposed to be at the show, yes.
Yeah, it was definitely rough that day. It has still been rough. 48 hours after everything happened. I mean, I still have the images in my head.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because unfortunately, they don't teach you this stuff, and nobody really knew what to do at certain points. And I think we all just kind of, looking back on it now, we all just kind of went off each other.
Right. Comforting each other.
Yeah, exactly. And
you know that everyone was we're all, besides everyone, all there. But John, you mentioned how quickly the building sped out, emptied out. From what I heard, apparently even the locker room emptied out so fastly. Some of the guys and gals were still in their gear.
Yeah, I saw quite a few of them standing outside. And mind you, these were guys like Sean Donovan, and these were guys that were supposed to be in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, and mind you, I had seen them 10 minutes beforehand in gear, ready to go.
Right.
And they were all standing outside. I think a lot of them also, from my understanding, a lot of them also did not take pay that day.
They chose not to.
Yeah, again, this is from my understanding. Nothing officially was said, but
come on. If you're the person that's demanding, I'm going to be straightforward as someone who's involved in it. If I was in that situation, I would definitely not require, demand pay for that situation, because that is effing heartless. And I'm kind of blurring myself, in like certain words. And also, I'm going to say this right now, because there's been popping up a lot, and I'm sorry if I'm plugging the screen right now. There's been some rumors that's been going around that it was caused by a drop kick or a chest slap that may have caused this. It was not. But that rumor's been spewing around. So at this time, please stop spreading that rumor around. It was not caused by any of those two. We won't know for sure until the actual medical coroner's report comes out.
Yes.
That's why as someone who is basically the voice of reason, to say the least, stop spreading rumors about that.
Yeah,
just wanted to say that. That's all.
I agree with you 100%.
But anyway, back to people demanding pay. If you're someone in the industry and said individual dies in the middle of the show, you want to get paid for being there? How heartless can it be? Give it to the family.
Right.
That's what James just said here in the comment section about give it to the family.
Speaking of which, I'm going to do a little cheap plug right now because there is an event coming up this coming weekend in Jersey, in the same place at Richfield Park.
Yes.
Shadow Wrestling. From what I am hearing, nobody in that card is getting a single dime, and that is all their choice. And that card has a lot of names on it, and they're not taking any pay. It's going to the family because that shows right there how much respect each and every single person on that card had for Vince and his family.
Can you guys give me a minute? I have to step out for a minute. I'll be right back.
Sure. Sorry, I just wanted to get that straight and clear now.
You're good. And by the way, I'm just take Papa Dank off the screen.
Yeah, do what you gotta do. But because I've been hearing, that rumor for, last like 24 hours, and people say like, oh, it was caused by this, caused by that. How the hell would you know?
Well, I was going to say, I just want to go, Ryan, not to cut you off for a second here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Reading one of the comments here, Cheyenne, who thanked us for doing this tonight. Cheyenne, if you want to come on, I can send you the link. That's not a problem at all. Myself or Ryan, one of us can just shoot you over the link if you want to hop on.
And it's funny with Cheyenne's comment. I heard him. I actually have another funny story about Vince that he actually mentioned yesterday on someone else's podcast. But I don't know if we can talk. I don't know if I can continue story time right now, or if you want to talk to some of the comments. That's up to you.
Oh no. Go ahead, because I'm trying to see about some other people. But go ahead. So, these stories are actually very interesting because they're really showing the other side of what Vince was.
Well, now you can hear a little bit of the humor side of Vince.
Go right ahead.
So this was about 20. So Cheyenne actually kind of brought this back into my memory when he went on Tristan Law, another fellow wrestler / podcaster's live memorial show yesterday. He mentioned the story, and I completely forgot about it, so I'll say it on here. So it was around 2015, 2016, I believe. We were at the now called Ace Arena, and mostly everybody is there early, just like trying to get a thing together, just BS and talking, just getting last minute stuff together, getting ready for the show for the night. Some of us are on the second floor office, hanging out with Mike and a few other people. Some people are downstairs and whatnot. All of a sudden, we heard a boom, like a big boom. I'm like, what the hell was that? So I was in the office upstairs with Mike and like 10 other people, and we're just just talking BS. And we heard the boom. We were like, "What the hell was that?" And didn't think anything of it. So all of a sudden, we hear people like walking up to the door, and we hear people knocking on the door. I think it was Cheyenne that came in and said, "Vince broke one of the chairs." We were like, "What do you mean broke one of the chairs?" So. And luckily enough, I actually still have the photo of it, of how the chair broke. So actually, the way that actually, you know what? Bear with me for 1 second, folks, because I am actually going to send it to you, John, and I just want to see your reaction on it.
Okay.
Go ahead. I just want to say something real quick.
Please.
Just want to pull it up real quick. All right, so everybody knows Joe Ocasio, right?
Yes.
Love Joe.
Love Joe as well. If anybody, and this is his post, if anybody in the wrestling industry is having any health issues that fitness could solve, I'm giving free nutrition and workout plans. I mean this, do not hesitate to reach out. So if you're in the wrestling industry and you need some nutrition and workout plans, hit up Joe Ocasio. He's a great guy. He really is. And he runs a great company.
I
did see the photo?
Yes, and actually, Papa Dank, you're gonna laugh. I actually reached out to him.
To Joe? Did you?
Yeah,
that's nothing to laugh about.
I
reached
awesome.
Out
solely on the fact of the workout side of things, the gym side of things.
Yeah.
Because obviously many people know that I have an issue with weight, and what happened on Sunday gave me
the motivation
there, because that could have been, as much as everyone would say that could have been anybody that could have happened to.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest lesson that I took away from that day, yes, brother Ryan, I just saw the picture and I had to chuckle a little bit.
Oh no, but you can.
The biggest that I took away from that day, and nobody else is saying this because a lot of people who are talking about it were not in the building when it happened, but it shows you how precious life is. 100%. How in 1 second you're here and the next second you are gone. And that gave me the biggest scare, because I'm not that much younger than Vince.
Right.
Vince was about to turn 40.
Yep.
I'm going to be 32 next Friday. So there's only an 8-year difference between Vince and I. And I know I have put on a significant amount of weight recently for various reasons. And with what happened on Sunday, it gave me the biggest scare because that could have been me in that position.
Right.
And that gave me the scare of, I got to do something. I want to be able to have a long life and have the moments where, maybe get married down the road, maybe have kids, who knows? But that gave me the biggest scare. So, guys, like Papa Danger said, from what Joe Ocasio said, if you are in the wrestling industry and you do have health issues that, reach out to him. Reach out to him. When it comes to incidents like this, and it comes to tragic events like this, I feel like we have to work together as a wrestling community and not do the whole tribalism stuff or, play one side against the other.
No.
Because another thing I noticed on Sunday, and I noticed this on Facebook even after everything happened, pro wrestling, independent wrestling is one big dysfunctional family. That is the best way I can put it. When I go to shows in Jersey or I go to shows on Long Island or in upstate New York, I don't look at it as going to a show. I look at it as I'm going to see extended family. And Sunday really taught me that.
Pretty much you're going to a messed up party.
Exactly. Exactly. Nobody said that, pro wrestling, wrestling fans are normal, but it's dysfunctional.
Honestly, who's normal nowadays?
Exactly. It's dysfunctional, but the one thing I notice, wrestling fans will always have each other's backs.
Oh, yes. For sure.
There's a brotherhood there that I don't think anybody can ever take away. And even if you guys can hear in my voice now, I am trying so hard not to start crying. So if it sounds like my voice is raspy, I apologize.
It's been an emotional 48 hours for
all. Emotional, yeah.
It really.
But anyway, back to more stories of Vince Steele. Let me finish up the chair story, actually, so I can better describe, when he broke the chair. But he didn't break the chair in a generic way. He broke it basically. Actually, John, is there any way you can just hold up the photo on your end?
I can do you one better. If you give me about 5 minutes, I can upload it to the screen.
Dude,
just add it on.
Just hold up your phone to the screen and just full screen yourself.
All right. I mean, I can upload it.
But dude, we're not gonna wait 5 minutes. Yep, just hold on. So basically, that's how he broke the chair.
Oh man.
The legs just literally just went to the side. The frame is still in perfect tact, and he's just sitting there going, "Well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" But that was the type of humor Vince had. When we saw him walk into the office with that, Cheyenne can definitely attest for it. Mike can attest. A few others can attest. We were all on the floor, dying. We were laughing like some of us couldn't even breathe because we couldn't even fathom what the hell happened. I still
That's crazy.
I've been thinking about that all day, like how everything transpired, and actually I think that's when I first actually met Merc, and Merc saw it go down, and he was literally on the floor dying as well. But again, that's just a fraction of the sense of humor that Vince had.
Yeah,
and also, as I said it on social media, he oh, look at that, Matt Awesome is in the room. What's up, Matt? Matt, if you want to, you're more than welcome to come on. You're more than welcome to come on, share any stories, memories, anything of that nature. You're more than welcome to come on, my friend.
I already sent him the link.
I don't care. I'm just saying it. But also, like I said on social media, he's he's been a champion in multiple places, especially at Ace, where he's a Triple Crown winner. He was a tag team champion, Diamond Division champion, and heavyweight champion. And his matches were incredible. I remember his Diamond Division title matches against Astro Morales. That was a long time ago. But again, also his his match with Alvin at the hardcore match. That's still arguably one of my favorites of his. Especially with how the finish happened. He gets knocked out. I think he got knocked out by the pizza box. That's what it was.
Yes.
He got knocked out. Okay, so Papa Dang, let me break it down to you what happened. It was a hardcore fan bring the weapons match for the Ace Heavyweight title as the greatest heavyweight champion of all time, Alvin Alvarez, defended the title against Vince Steele. Now, and at one point, it was towards the end, there was a guy who actually, I will tell you behind the curtain, we actually went to one of the pizzerias nearby, and we actually bought a pie for this to happen. We actually bought a pizza pie. And someone came out, said I got a pizza here for Vince and whatnot. He said, "There's no pepperoni here. What the hell?"
It's not pizza without pepperoni.
And for some reason, his I think Alvin was trying to use one of the weapons. We used one of the weapons to knock him out, and obviously he misses. And then for some reason, the guy with the pizza box, hit him, thinking that hit Vince by accident. He starts, getting all woozy and just falls down on Alvin. And then you just see Alvin laying there on the ground going, "I can't get up. 1, 2, 3." And that's how he loses the match. He just had Vince just fall collapsing on him.
Oh, man.
And it's funny because I still have that. And I remember when he won and the crowd went bananas. Because if I remember correctly, Ryan, wasn't there also another moment in that match where they were on the outside, and if I remember correctly, what's his face? The guy who sat in the front row with the prosthetic leg.
Oh my God, yes.
No, was it Legs or was it the other one who held Alvin down so Vince could chop him?
So, one of the other moments in that match was there was a fan there who has prosthetic legs.
Mm-hmm.
He actually used one of the legs in the match.
Oh, nice.
He pretty much said,
what show was that?
Hey, what's up?
What show was that? At Ace?
That was Ace.
Why do I feel I was there?
Maybe you were.
I think I was at that show.
He pretty much said, "Hey, Alvin, time to taste defeat." Ping.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, it was Rob Chase that brought the pizza.
Oh, man.
It was Rob Chase that brought the pizza. I'm like, now, thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
We got a comment coming in.
I see that.
From Andrew Elder.
Let me pull up his comment here. He is the photographer from upstate New York.
He says, and I quote, "So sorry to hear about the news about Vince. I didn't know him personally, but anyone esteemed by this panel of lovable misfits is a guy to be missed. Godspeed to him and love to see the tribute." Thank you for tuning in, Andrew. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're all here celebrating the incredible, unfortunately, very cut short life of the remix of pro wrestling, the best big man in pro wrestling, the Jurassic Juggernaut, Vince Steele.
Oh, wait. Ryan, you have somebody else in the waiting room.
What do we got?
Well, I'll let you do the intro because I think this guy is awesome.
Oh, could it be the formerly known as the King of Chunkla style?
Chancla.
Hey guys, what's up?
What's up, Matt?
Oh,
How are you, my
Nothing
man?
much, man. Holding it together, trying to hold it up together, honestly, after Sunday's news. I wasn't even there, and the guys hit me up, and I was just in tears. Real quick, before my train gets here, because I'm heading home, quick story time, real quick, guys.
Go right ahead.
So it was Creator Die's last show at BWF, and Vince needed 3 guys to beat up. I was one of those 3 guys. He picked me. He chose me to be one of those 3 guys. So the whole time when I'm getting there, because Negro was like, "Hey, bring your gear. I got you. I'm gonna hook you up." I'm like, "All right, cool." I show up to the venue and I'm like, "All right, what am I doing? Who am I wrestling?" They were like, "Oh, you're gonna be one of the 3 guys to fight Vince Steele." I'm like, "Oh, damn." All right. And then Vince sees my face and Vince starts messing with me. He's like, "So Matt, you taking the Harlem Hangover tonight?" I'm like, "Wait, no, what?" He's like, "You're taking the Harlem Hangover." Mind you, I had just debuted at BWF, my first ever wrestling match, November of 2017. This is February of 2018. So I'm shitting bricks. Right? So he's messing with me. And then he was like, "Nah, Matt, I like you too much. You're like a little brother to me." He's getting the Harlem Hangover. So he pointed at the other dude that was taking it. I'm like, "Oh, I'm safe." He's like, "What? I'm gonna take your head off with a lariat or 2." I'm like, "All right." He at one point he was like, "I got you." So he was like, hit me back. So I'm hitting him in the corner, hitting him in the corner, and getting a shine up on him. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting a shine up on Vince Steele." Break up a pin. That was the last thing I did. Because all I remember is hitting him, going like, "I got this." Run off the rope, lariat. At the end of coming up like a few seconds later, me and somebody try to double close on him. He breaks it, double lariat. I get back up, drop kick. I'm done. I rolled out the ring, end of the match. I roll to the back. When I finally get to the back, what ends up happening is he's like, "Yo, come over here." He gives me a big hug. He's like, "Yo, man, you sold the shit out of this for me. And you know what? I'm like, I wasn't selling. You actually took my head off, but I love you." After that, every single time there was an opportunity, he found one for me. Whenever he walked into the locker room, it was as if he was like everybody would smile because they know Vince was there. He wouldn't just talk about wrestling with you. He'll talk about life. He'll talk about real stuff with you. When I had my medical emergency during the Killjoy match, he hit me up a day later, checking up on me. He's like, "Yo, get that shit checked out, man. We need you." I'm like, I will. And I definitely did. Vince was that lovable, gentle titan, I'll call him, because we all loved him. And he was a titan.
Yes,
He was
he
definitely
was.
a titan. And he's going to be missed. And this Saturday, if anybody is listening to this right now in the Jersey, New York area, Connecticut area, doesn't matter where you are, Shadow Wrestling Alliance, Sábado Gigante. This Saturday is going to be a show for Vince. In memory for him, it's going to be a fundraiser for him. Bring the family, bring everybody. It's going to be at the Mecca. Unfortunately, it's going to be at the Mecca under the roof where, we lost him. But at the end of the day, this is for Vince. And this is what we're going to do for him. And we need to have that place sold out. We need to have a lot of faces and asses and seats to put on for him because he's a fallen brother right now.
Yeah.
And whatever we can do to support him, help his family, get them through this time, especially us guys. Wrestling saved me during my dark time. So wrestling will save all of us during this time. And Saturday is going to be the show for that. Me and Jared are going to be in the building, the Uptown Boys. Enzo Amore is going to be there. We're all going to be there, and we're going to be there for Vince, and we're going to basically put on for Vince. And I said it in my post, I'm going to say it again. My match is for him, and I hope we walk away with those titles so we can put Shadow on our backs the way we would have wanted Shadow to be represented the right way. And we love Vince. I will always love the man. He always looked out for me. We're from the same area. Grew up in the same area. So to lose him was like losing a part of me. And now, not only that did we lose Matt Travis a few years ago, but now we just lost Vince. Now it's time for us to put out for them and keep pushing forward.
Yeah. And you just beat me to the punch because I was going to ask about Saturday, but you're just basically.
I'm gonna let y'all go because I'm on my train. I'm gonna stay listening, and everybody stay safe. Tell everybody you love them. Give them hugs and kisses because you never know.
Damn right.
But I'll see you guys.
Love you, man.
Bye.
Go on.
All right, Brian, I gotta make a quick phone call, so I'm gonna leave you running this for a little bit.
Oh, great. Thanks.
No problem.
But yeah, folks, that was Matt Awesome, formerly known as the King of Chunkla Style, but not anymore. Him and his partner Jared Diaz will be wrestling on Shadow Wrestling's event Sábado Gigante this coming Saturday, live from Jersey. Massive fundraiser event for Vince Steele's family. If you got nothing to do, you better show up in Richfield Park. There's no excuse. Unless you have something much more important to do. Yeah, no. I mean, heck, maybe if it is something somewhat important, think about it for a few seconds, and then go to the show. Okay, that's how important this show should be. And also, speaking of other shows as well, next Saturday, Ace is back with Hero Celebration.
The following weekend?
The 29th.
Okay.
Where that night we were already planning on celebrating a hero in Mike Morgan Jr., the owner of American Championship. I mean, the son of Mike Morgan. And now we're not celebrating just one hero, we're celebrating two. Vince is always. Yep, exactly. Matt said it best. It's a celebration for Vince. Yeah, damn right. As I said, Matt, if you got somewhat important things to do, think about it, cancel them, then come to Richfield Park. That's all you can do. And actually, Papa Neng, I can tell you again. I'll remind the viewers that are just tuning in again how I found out about the news yesterday. I mean, not Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting ready to do Create a Pro, and this is around like 4:30ish, I guess, on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, John is calling me. Now, usually John never calls me unless it's something really big. Either it's something really bad or something really good, and someone wanted to say hi. But the latter of the two, the bad. When he called me, I assumed there was something wrong with him or Amanda. I'm gonna be honest. But that's when he told me that Vince had a heart attack in the ring. I'm like, please tell me you're joking. Like, what are you talking about? And that's when he said, I wish I was kidding. And he was like so like quiet.
Yeah.
And I said, the checking on him, like, just keep me updated throughout the entire night and whatnot. Then 10 minutes later, apparently they had the ambulance, called and whatnot, the cops showing up. I said, at this point, just text me one. And then about maybe 45 minutes later, he texted me saying that he's gone. Mind you, I was working the show. Wow. And I was trying to keep it together.
Right.
One of the officials on the card on Sunday was referee Steve Dumang.
Right.
Who also knew Vince as well. I told him about what happened with Vince beforehand, and Steve was, and also Ariel and Nix was on the card as well. I told them what happened. They were in complete shock. They were like, "Wait, he what?" And at the time, I wasn't told that it was actually during the show, because I thought they started around the same time as we did, like 5:00. But then coming to find out later from, I think it was a couple of the guys, Leo Sparrow, I think one of them was. It was during the match. I'm like, it was during the match.
I'm looking at the comments too.
Yeah, we were trying, like, obviously myself, Steve, Ariella, we were trying so hard to keep it together, for the show. But afterwards, that's when obviously myself and Steve, we broke down. And then a little bit later on, that's when, a bunch of us were in the back. I can gladly tell you who were talking about it. Myself, Dumang, Leo, Sparrow, Bobby Orlando, Bronson was talking about it. Even Brian Myers was talking about it for a bit with Eddie Edwards.
Sorry about that, guys.
You're good. I was just catching up with Papa Dank, like how I found out about the news.
Yeah, we got a comment coming in here from what's his face from
Andrew.
No.
Or David. Sorry, not Andrew. David. As John knows, although I've been a wrestling fan for many years, I've only just started getting familiar with the U.S. indie scene the last couple of years, but it still tugged on my heartstrings when I heard about Vince Steele. Sending my prayers and condolences to his family from across the pond. Rest in peace, Mr. Steele. And folks, like I said earlier in the show, there is a GoFundMe page up for Vince's family. From the start of the show, it is almost at $11,000 right now, which is insane because that only went up about 36 hours ago.
Yeah.
With two of the biggest donors that I've seen so far on there being Anthony, because it is public knowledge, by the way, Papa Dank, Anthony Cole and Chris Jericho.
Wow.
Yeah. So that right there, especially with Jericho's name being attached to this, shows how much of an impact Vince Steele has made in the wrestling community as a whole.
Right.
Yeah. And this is... Okay, here we go.
Yep, I was going to Cheyenne's comment too. In Cheyenne's comment, he says, please support Shadow Wrestling Alliance this weekend. Great card and Vinny's creation. Support and donate if you can. His Pro Wrestling Tees shop is still live, so definitely go check out his Pro Wrestling Tees shop. Take advantage, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, and Cheyenne mentioned it here, we got Heroes Celebration next week, where Cheyenne, you can correct me if I'm wrong, next week we're not only going to be celebrating one hero in Mike Morgan Jr., but now we're going to be celebrating two heroes in Ace with Vince Steele.
And by the way, Cheyenne, I sent you the link if you want to hop on.
Matt also says Vince was a big name that never got signed yet. Those who were signed that he have reached out to.
And then
he was a cornerstone in my career, as a lot of us in the business. Absolutely, for sure.
And Cheyenne, to answer your question, he is coming on.
He's the last guest of the evening.
Yeah. That's going to be rough.
That's going to be rough.
Yeah.
That's really rough. And here's the way I kind of, I think I mentioned this before, but the way I kind of could tell that it was bad.
My cat.
The cat wanted to join in the party too.
What you doing, folks?
The cat wanted to join the party.
He wants to join.
Was because I saw one person at the Phil Sheridan building.
I might have to feed him. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back.
You're good. You're good.
You're good.
Come on, folks.
Was I saw Mike?
Yeah.
And once I saw him, knowing obviously because you've told me and I've spoken to him about it over the last couple of years about what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And once I saw him, that's when it kind of hit me like, shit. Because if they're calling Mike in, it's not going to be pretty news. But by the way, I'm loving all these stories. And guys, by the way, if you have any more stories, you can definitely leave them either in the comment section, or if you happen to be friends with myself or Ryan and would like to hop on, we can send you the link. That's not a problem. That is not a problem at all. And
I'm still at a loss for words 48 hours later.
Yeah. Ryan, I'll say this much. If I had to do the show with anybody tonight, when I started putting together in my head, I'm going to just tell you right now, when I started putting together in my head that I wanted to do the show tonight and I wanted to do it in honor of Vince, there was the first person on my list that I was like, I got to try to get them on. And it was bigger than Mike Morgan, even though Mike does have the link for the show.
Mm-hmm.
There was one person who I specifically wanted to have on tonight. Ryan, that was you.
I appreciate it, man, for sure.
Because if there was anybody who had obviously much more of an interaction with Vince than I did, obviously there's plenty of people who have. But from a professional standpoint, it was you. And when I started putting everything together, I was like, you know what? I have to get Ryan on, because it would not feel right for me honoring the big man himself than having on the guy who, let's be honest, you were the ring announcer for many of his matches at Ace.
Going on 15 years, my man.
And
almost.
I equated this. I was talking to Anthony Cole today for a little bit, and even the images of him are going through my head from Sunday. And this was like the way I can describe it, and hopefully this kind of puts into perspective of how complex the situation was. It was almost like a parent losing a son. Sure. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because he looked so distraught and so, Ryan, like you said, there was no words.
Mm-mm.
Because all of a sudden you see this guy come walking into the ring. You're not expecting this to be. You're not expecting to walk into a wrestling ring and being stretchered out because stuff happens.
Hell, even some people that were at the show, I think Monster Matt was one of them saying, I was just talking with you like 10 minutes before the match.
Yeah. I saw him walking into the building. And he walked out. I hate to say this. He went out doing what he loved to do. Performing pro wrestling and working for the fans.
Also, I have to commend Anthony Cole on something else too, by the way.
Go right ahead.
I have to commend Anthony Cole on. Forgive me, folks, for how I'm going to be comparing this. I'm comparing this to the Owen Hart situation that happened so many years ago, where, again, if you remember, Owen Hart also passed away during the show. But what did they do? They continued the show.
Yes.
Anthony Cole, on the other hand, when all this went down, he immediately canceled the show. And that is literally the smartest thing I have. That if I was in his shoes, I would have done the same thing too. Because how can you continue an event with something like that happening?
Exactly, I agree with you 100%.
I can understand if I can understand if somehow it was just like a broken leg or a broken injury or something like that. That's fine. That is doable. They can continue on. But for this, no. There's no way. You cancel the show, and then possibly even take a little bit of time away from doing events, just let everything calm down and decompress and whatnot. Just saying. Correct me if I'm wrong here, gentlemen.
No, you're 100% correct. And unfortunately, that decision can't be made by us. It has to be made by Anthony Cole, AJ Pan, and BCW management. What the next step is.
I'm just commending them for
going,
hey, guess what? Show's over. Go home.
Yes, and that decision was made I think within
seconds.
Not even like I'll put it this way. By the time we were, because even though technically they told it just for the fans to go outside, at one point you couldn't go down Bergen Avenue.
Because I think that's when the ambulance showed up.
Yeah. Ambulance was there, the cops were there, which, by the way, I give the Ridgefield Park cops a lot of credit for showing up as quickly as they did. And all that stuff. Actually, Ryan, we do have Amanda coming back in here quickly.
Okay.
All right.
I'll say this. What you were saying, John.
Mm-hmm.
Those cops showed up. I was still on the phone with 911. Those cops were there as I was still on the phone with them.
That's impressive.
That's how fast they responded.
Wow.
I'm gonna say this jokingly right now for us Long Islanders. Can it work like that for the Long Island police? I'm just gonna say that.
Unfortunately, it don't. Not for Long Island. But for New Jersey, I will say they responded within seconds while I was still on the phone with them.
Ryan, just to piggyback off your comment there, and again, this is just meant to be a joke because, like I said, guys, we are trying to have some fun and celebrating his life. Ryan, the only way you get Long Island cops to show up quick is you have to have something happen here at Dunkin'.
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's just call a spade on that
or
one.
An Applebee's.
Yes,
or an Applebee's.
Oh boy, yeah. Any place with food. How does that sound?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. Us four on here are Long Islanders, and we all know the horror stories of how Nassau County and Suffolk County cops are.
Well, let's not piss them
Yes.
off.
Yeah, let's not upset them right now.
Come at me, bros. I'm just kidding.
But
no, again, I commend them for being very responsive, like instantly.
Yeah, they were very responsive.
Yeah.
Even the fire department showed up pretty quickly.
Really?
Because even the fire department was there. Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong. It was the cops first, then it was
cops first. Then we had to wait for the ambulance, and then they called. Then the fire department, but the fire department responded within seconds.
Yes.
Wow.
Within seconds, they responded.
And again, folks, we're gonna be stressing this for the rest of the many episode. Go see go support Shadow Wrestling Alliance this Saturday. It'll be one hell. It's gonna be one hell of a show no matter what. But now it's even more hell of a show. And yeah, Matt, the fire station is actually a few blocks down from the KOC, so that's why they responded so quickly.
Yeah, which I give them a lot of credit.
Matt, I have family who actually lives like 3 blocks away from the Mecca, so I know the area very well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Tickets are still available for Saturday.
Great. Yep, you heard it here, folks.
And guys,
whatever event you have, birthday, quinceañera, anniversary, whatever celebration, postpone it till a later date. Go see Shadow Wrestling. That's all I gotta say.
Quinceañera, really?
Well, people have
really? I do not.
Quinceañera, Sweet 16. Any major party, bar mitzvah, any major party you have on Saturday, postpone it till beginning of April. Go see Shadow Wrestling Alliance and Ace Hero Celebration. I hope that helps, Matt.
But no, we're hoping to have a few more people kind of trickle in here throughout the rest of the show tonight, guys. Like I said, I hate to say this has been. Actually, I'll leave that for the end.
This isn't your typical Around the Rails podcast for sure.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. We're actually staying on the rails this time.
Well, I mean, how can we not?
I'll put it this way. It's half on the rails, half off the rails. It's
Seriously?
all in for Vince.
We're respectably off the rails.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All for Vince.
Not some past episodes.
Like the last
Right.
3, but not
Yeah.
getting into that right now.
And I'll put it this way. For me, I've come into this world, it's going to be 9 months. And I've known Vince, I met Vince, it's a couple of times and everything. And every time I've seen Vince, every time I've interacted with him, if I wasn't with where I could be, where John is or anything, anywhere I was in any building, I knew, and John, you can testify to this, Ronnie, you can too. Anywhere I was in any building, any of the wrestlers, Vince, Anthony, Benny, any of them.
Basically, wherever you were,
they always. Exactly. I was always safe. I always had somebody watching out for me.
Vince was definitely one of the key protectors. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
he was. I'll tell you this: the very first time I stepped foot in that building, there was 2 guys, and John, you know the 2 guys I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
That were creeps. Me and John got separated because he had to go do something. I was downstairs. I was doing something upstairs a minute. And these 2 guys, they are podcasters and everything. And they were trying to hit on me, creeping me out the whole 9 yards. Vince and a couple of others literally had my back to protect me and got them away from me. And they were like, "Oh, you're needed downstairs, or you're needed here, or whatever, or we need you." Just to get those 2 guys, me away from those 2 guys. And I will never forget that.
Yeah, that's the one thing you can attest this more than anybody. It didn't matter if you were a wrestler or if you were a fan. Vince had your back.
Absolutely.
Yes, he did.
And I always got a kick out of the Jurassic Juggernaut name.
Yeah.
I always got a fucking kick out of that.
Whenever anyone has free time, go check out his tag team down in Florida with a guy named Cha-Cha Charlie. I think they call themselves the Cha-Cha Juggernauts. And again, getting back to the sense of humor of Vince, you see him coming out in the cha-cha mariachi hat, and he's coming out with the guitar along with Cha-Cha Charlie. He's like playing along with the music, like having him coming out of the curtain. It was literally like, again, the sense of humor that Vince had. And also for a guy his size, for many years, how many guys his size can you name off the top of your head that can do a massive 450 leg drop?
How many?
None.
No. You know what's funny with him? It's almost like if you had to compare him to like somebody from the olden times, it's almost like he had the athleticism of a Vader, but the height of
Mike Awesome.
Yeah, that's probably the best way.
In my honest opinion, I'm kind of gonna retort that he kind of looked like a combination of not only Vader and Mike Awesome, but maybe even a little bit of a Chris Canyon in there with his wrestling abilities, because he did moves with mostly everybody his size can never do. And he's faced off some of the very best here in the tri-state area. He's faced off against Jay Lethal. He's faced off against, obviously, Alvin Alvarez, Cade Lothrock, or Saccade, Danny Moff. He's partnered up with guys named Punisher Martinez, now known as Damian Priest in WWE. Brawley. He's done it all. Like, he's been doing this for almost 25 years. Thank you, Mark. I completely forgot about that. Also, a man his size doing a spinning heel kick.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Again, as Matt Awesome just commented, one of a kind. And also, Matt, if you're watching and you see me on Saturday, you better give me the biggest fucking hug in the world. Just say, you better. I will come find you in that building.
Well, Brian, you might have somebody else in that building with you.
I know Shane will be there. Papa Dank?
I think he's getting at himself. No, I'll be in Long Island.
Matt, you better hit a spinning heel kick.
I don't want to say anything yet until Matt confirms it with me in our private chat, but yeah, there might be something nice happening for Saturday's show.
I think I have an idea what it might be. You damn right on that one, Matt.
So, Amanda, by the way, you're more than welcome to join. You're more than welcome to possibly join me.
Wait, what? Okay, what?
We'll talk later.
I'll take it to the show. But
yeah, please fill me in.
Amanda, he'll talk about it, okay?
Yeah.
But all I'm gonna say is this, though. I'm gonna say this right now, but I'm gonna say this in honor of the big man. Ryan, you touched on it before with the comments that some of the people that were saying were absolute lies.
Mm-hmm.
And okay. What was I going to say? These people who are making comments towards BCW, towards Vince Steele. I think there's a time and a place for everything. And now is neither the time nor the place for it. And I I don't want to give this guy. I don't want to say this guy's name.
I know where you're going with this.
But if you're Brian, you're gonna be pissed at me. But I have to say this.
Just don't say the name, please.
I'm not saying the name.
Good.
But I'm not gonna say the name of this individual. But there's an individual on Facebook who has been running his mouth a lot in the last 48 hours on the passing of Vince Steele. Now, you may not know who I am, and I'm saying this to this individual, but I'm going to tell you right now.
God damn. Sorry.
But,
I just saw Matt's comment. Sorry about that.
I'm going to put it to you this way. You're not a man. You're a child. Because the fact that you said what you said, not even 24 hours after a man died in pro wrestling, you're not a wrestler. You're a child who's cosplaying as a wrestler. So next time, you should get you should get somebody who's a little older than you who can control when you talk on the phone, because you are not a wrestler. You are not a human being. You are a piece of shit person for what you said. And if anybody, and I'm not saying this now, but he better watch out, because a lot of people want to do some damage to him. Because, like I said before, there's a time and a place. There's 3 kids right now who are going to go the rest of their lives without having a fucking father. And you're going to sit there and make jokes about this? You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed. And if you ever show your face in Ridgefield Park, get on your sneakers, because you're going to be running.
I'm going to add on to that. Because obviously I know who this individual is, and John's absolutely right. He's not a pro wrestler. He's just a cosplayer as a wrestler, because let's face it, he failed it in the MMA. Sorry about that.
All right.
Yeah, it's my smoke alarm.
Brian was about to say something really hot. He almost burnt down his house.
Coming after me.
Please don't burn anything down.
That's terrible. Terrible.
That was the cops coming after me, apparently. Bear with me, folks. I'll be right back and see what the hell's going on.
All right, as Ryan's trying to,
Not burning their place down.
Burning his place down.
Let's go to some of the comments here. David turns around and goes, "Yes, go, John." Mark was saying, "Oh yeah, I'm one of them." To me. Oh, apparently my take.
I'm here.
Oh, like I said, it's bad he said, because he is nothing more than a child.
That's terrible.
And anybody, and I'm not just talking about this one person, anybody who's on social media right now, saying that, oh, it's this person's fault, it's this person's fault, it's this person's fault. It could have happened to anybody.
Yeah.
So before we start pointing fingers and saying, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault, let's realize the fact here that, and I said this before and I'll say this again, there's 3 kids who are now not going to have a father. There's a wife who's not going to have a husband. There's a wrestling community that lost a goddamn brother on Sunday. Let's worry about that before we start pointing fingers as far as who to blame, because let's be honest, there's nobody to blame for this. It could happen to somebody who's in top tier condition. It could, like I said, it could happen anybody.
Sure.
So before
I like what David just said. He goes, I got a size 9.
Sorry, just escape the Nassau County Cops. Escape the Nassau County Cops. I'm good.
Amanda, before we get to what you said, Ryan, please tell me you did not just burn down
No, that was my smoke alarm that just went off. Apparently the battery just died. I'm like, great. So,
but go ahead with what you're gonna say.
What, me or her?
You.
Oh,
I like what Dave.
Oh yeah. So getting back to the cosplay wrestler who apparently failed in the world of MMA. Yeah. This guy thinks he's all talk. He can talk the talk, but he can never walk the walk. And with what he said, absolutely made him public enemy number 1 for sure.
Oh, 100%. You see Matt's comment?
Yeah, I was gonna pull that up.
Pull it up.
The real life confrontation and fear chokeholds. Yeah, there you go.
Basically, if I was this guy, I wouldn't show up in Ridgefield Park.
I won't show up to any wrestling event.
Thank you.
Honestly, at this point,
no.
retire, quit wrestling. It's for your own good.
But here's the thing, John.
Literally.
Here's the thing. You're telling him to retire. Retire from what? Because, he never really succeeded at anything.
Retire from being a cosplayer.
Oh, now you're asking for too much.
Unbelievable.
Or here's another option.
I would go into witness protection. I love it.
I'm even going to go a step further on this one. Who's to say if this guy gets into the ring with somebody that they're not going to do something to him?
Oh, 100%.
He doesn't even need to be in the ring.
I'll put it this way. We always talk about in pro wrestling how if you have a belt on you, you have a target on your back. This guy's verbal diarrhea gave him the biggest target on his back in all of New Jersey.
John,
I wouldn't say just of New Jersey. I would say right now everywhere.
Pretty much.
And by the way, I am trying so calm right now to not chuck something.
Please don't.
Book a gauntlet match in the parking lot, him versus all of us. Oh, God. Fine, if that's the case, I know who's going to be the team captain for that gauntlet. Some guy named Danny Moff.
Oh, simple. Just let Danny Moff and Vargas just go after him. He'll be done.
Nah, just Moff. Throwing curve for good measure.
No, we gotta give him Vargas too.
But hey,
I will say.
You want to see if Benny still wants to come on?
Yeah, I'm gonna message him right now.
Yeah, let's see if we can try to get Benny Blanco on.
I will say this. I liked what Dave said, and he's from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I got a size 9 boot from hell. Here, waiting for the disrespectful prick. I'm only jet lag filled flight away, and that wouldn't stop me. He would literally come from the UK here.
I do have other comments I would love to say on this poor excuse of a human being, but I am retorting myself by not saying it.
Yeah.
And again, another cheap plug while John is trying to get on Benny Blanco. Once again, this coming Saturday, Shadow Wrestling Alliance live from Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. Go check out the event. It's Vince Steele's his baby right there, his dream, his passion. all put together in the ring. Go check it out. And then the following week, go check out Ace Pro Wrestling's Hero Celebration live from Teaneck, not that far from Richfield Park. Again, another action-packed night of pro wrestling. And also another cheap plug to the gentleman down below me, Papa Dan. Give him a quick follow because he does some pretty okay interviews. But no,
Thanks.
in all seriousness, definitely check out Papa Dang's channel right there. And yeah, I think I'm done with the cheap plugs for now.
And check out Ryan. He has a YouTube channel too.
Right.
I do. Oh yeah, sometimes I do.
And book Ryan.
Yeah, let's see what time has for me on that. Not in that nature, just retirement wise.
But Betty did just get the link.
Oh,
Is he coming?
Lineup right there.
Yeah, he'll be
I
here.
saw that lineup.
All right, Amanda, Papa Dank, I'm going to put you guys in the waiting room for a minute.
Okay.
Because
You got it.
of who we're about to bring in. So you guys will be brought back on at the end. All right.
Is it him?
Yes, it is. That's why I'm leaving it just as us two right now.
I'm gonna let you do the intro for this one.
Guys, as we wrap up this tribute show for Vince Steele, the Jurassic Juggernaut himself, we figured why not have somebody on who was probably one of the closest people to him. He was a part of that match on Sunday. Guys, bring it on to the show now.
Here we go.
The one, the only, Benny. Benny, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, Ben?
What's going on? You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear perfectly.
Yeah, you did.
All right. I don't think that's perfect. Hold on. Let me get my earplugs out because I thought I could, put my AirPods on and you guys could hear me, but I guess not.
No, we can.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, you're good, man. We can hear you no matter what.
All right, cool. Because I got wrestling in the background. I'm trying to catch up from missing Monday SmackDown and all so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a distraction, if you know what I mean.
Oh, we know exactly what you mean, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna step into the room, so it could be more I guess intimate and stuff.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Floor is yours, man. Go ahead.
John, and Ryan, thank you for having me. I love you guys. Ryan, don't cry because you're gonna make me cry.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to hold back, man.
I'm trying. It's been rough. It's been rough. And first things first, it's not about me. I appreciate the introduction. I appreciate you guys thinking about me. I appreciate everybody checking up on me. It wasn't easy, and it just sucks because I don't know. I'm still living a bad dream. I wake. This is day 2, and I kid you not. I'm really thinking that he's gonna hit me up. He's gonna call me, because that's what he usually does, all day, every day. Or anytime I'm going through something, I run to him. I call him up, and he stops everything he's doing just to make sure that I'm all right. And if he can't, he makes sure that he'll get back to me. And reality set in that it's not happening no more, and it sucks. It fucking sucks. If I'm allowed to curse, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
And I'm not trying to say that I'm the only one hurting. I know everybody's hurting in their own different way, but this one hurts. This one is different. I'm not here to compare any wrestler's death or anybody outside of wrestling's death, but for me, I had to suffer 2 tragic losses. First, Matt Travis. Second, the legendary Vince Steele. Both those guys were close to me. But I love Matt. I do. I love Matty, and he's the reason why I came in this industry. But Vince is the reason why I stood. Because at some point in my wrestling career, I was out. I was out. You know, I made a debacle of my rookie year, and you know, I had a lot of personal crap going on outside of wrestling. And who's there? Vince. Every time I made a mess of something, they'll call Vince. Hey Blanco, hey Vince, Blanco's doing this, Blanco's doing that. Talk to him, guide him, do something. And whether I was right or wrong, and most of the times I was wrong, in his heart, I was always right. And it's like I lost. I don't know. Like I said, I'm stuck in a bad dream. I don't know how everybody else is, and you know, I'm not trying to use John and Ryan's platform to get center of attention because it's not about me. It's about him, and he's a true inspiration to everybody that ever decided to be a wrestler or just to be a friend of his was exciting. He's a man of men. Like he's 6'6", 400 and something pounds, but he stood over that. Like when he walked into a room, he didn't have to command attention. He didn't have to demand anything. When he walked into a room and it could be gloomy as fuck, he'll brighten that shit up. And I'm thankful for that. I know the world of wrestling is thankful for that. I know people outside of wrestling is thankful for that because he was the most beautiful, gentle giant that God ever created. Like, you know what Vince remind me of the movie Green Mile. If you know that movie,
Yep.
that shit will make you cry. Two Ways to Sunday, but the meaning behind that and the man that stand behind that meaning, that is that's Vince Steele right there. If you could ever portray any character in a book, in a movie, in any scenario, you gotta mention Green Mile because Vince Steele gave life to shit that shouldn't even make sense. He made it make sense.
Yeah.
And you know, it's crazy. Like I don't know. I don't know. Like, and I'm sorry if I'm like sounding repetitive. I'm sorry I'm stutter.
No, no, no.
It's
You're
You're
good.
like this is my first time since Sunday, you know, like I'm ever interacting with everybody. Cause like, come on. Like, come on. Like
like
I
you
said
said. Like you
go
said, it
ahead.
feels like we're in a long term nightmare right now that we wish we all could just wake up from.
Because knowing Vince, he'd probably be sitting here right now going, "Why are you guys crying? We have a wrestling show to go do.
It's a fact.
We have a match to go
Yeah.
do."
It's a fact. But you know,
He
go
We got
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, man.
No,
Go
I was
ahead,
gonna
John.
got
say
big man shit to do.
he he could be the opening match on the card. He can be the match right before intermission. He could be the goddamn main event. You knew you were getting an entertaining match. It didn't matter who he faced. So I would say this, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. He was almost like I wouldn't say the gatekeeper of New Jersey wrestling, but if you wrestled Vince, you that was like sort of like your approval. Am I off on saying that?
Nah, he was like the Undertaker in WWE.
That to me is the best way I can describe him. Is if you were had a match with Vince, just hope he doesn't stumble and fall on you because it could take a while to get up. But well, no, Betty, we were talking about it earlier. We remember his match he had with Alvin Alvarez.
Yeah.
At Ace. Ryan, was it a year ago, 2 years ago?
A couple of years ago, yeah.
And the whole finish of it was he stumbled onto Alvin to get his title.
He literally fell in him while Alvin is on his back, like flailing his arms, like I can't get him up, and he lost the title.
But
oh man,
yeah,
the wrestling stories of Vince Steele. Oh man,
Yes.
if you think you got stories, oh man, I got stories.
well, if you want to tell any of those stories now, go right ahead.
Um, where would I start? I know this man. See, believe it or not, people don't really know that Vince knew who I was before I even started wrestling. Me and Vince go back 8 years. We happened to meet each other at his shoot job one night. And this is when I was a dancer. This is when I was a hip hop dancer and I was doing it full time. And I was hanging out with celebrities and we just happened to go to a seafood spot and he was working there. And we all know, if you really know Vince, his thing is security. That's who he is. And that's what he was doing. If he wasn't wrestling, he was doing that. And I walk in and I don't eat seafood. I don't. That's not me. But the people I was with, and he knew who they were. And then me and him just got to talking, and he's like, "Yo, like, I remember he was like, bro, do they need a bodyguard? Let them know." I was like, "Brother, give me a number. I'll talk to them." And then you know how life changes people. You know how life does a lot of altering changes. And I guess from that day on, me and him lost contact. And I'm not trying to disrespect anybody's religion or anything like that when I say this,
Mhm.
but God brought us back together. Because it's very ironic how I got into wrestling because I was living in Florida, and when I got the call about Maddie, it killed me. And this is when my dance career was coming to an end. And a light bulb clicked. And a light bulb clicked to tell me to start doing wrestling, to start, you know, keeping Maddie's name alive and stuff like that. And I did that. And I went to a school called CCW in Florida. And I can't even I can't even make this up. There was a show at a school in a gym, and Pablo Marquez got me to do the Rumble. That was my first ever match, a Rumble,
Wow.
which I'm thankful for because as a rookie that doesn't know shit, I was like, yeah, thank you for putting me in this Rumble, like, and I'm okay with that. But long and behold, you know, as a rookie, especially in certain territories, you can't, go bother the talent, the big name talents, or you can't pop some shows you can't even see them. So this particular show is like an anniversary show, so it's a big show. A lot of things were going on. Long story short, um, at that time my name was Chris Swoosh. Don't ask me why that was, why I named myself that as a ring name, but hey, it is what it is. And so when I got eliminated, um, by Andy English, England wrestler that lived out in Florida, military pressed my small ass right over the ring, and that's when I took a big official bump that day. And I get up and I'm like, yo, I love this. Like, this is hot. This is fly. I walk to the bed, and guess who's sitting there getting ready? Vince, the Juggernaut Steele. And I'm like, yo, what up? Like, I'm like, hey, how you doing? My name is. He goes, wait, what? Your name is what? I said, yeah, Chris Swoosh. He said, like the Nike logo? He started laughing. You know that deep laugh. Like, ha, 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 ha. And so he's like, what? You name yourself after the Nike logo? I'm like, yo, I don't even know this man, and this man is making fun of me. That's crazy. I'm like, you know what? But this is from what I heard about Vince Steele. I'm like, you know what? This is the man that you want him to be on your side. And so I was honored. I was like, wow, like as a rookie, somebody in his stature and who he is talking to me. He could be talking to anybody else, but he's talking to me. And he went off, did his thing, killed it. And I got to sit front row and see how a man of his caliber, his stature, his height, his weight move. Like he moved like he was like Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Rey Mysterio. Like I never seen a big man move the way he moved. Like I never seen a big man do a Harlem Hangover or splash, like or run the way he ran, and it was phenomenal. And it just made me want to be like, you know what? I did this for various reasons, but now I really want to stay and I really want to push because I want to get on this man's level. And I was fortunate enough that the very next night, the very next day, matter of fact, Pablo invites Vince Steele to come to the training facility. I got to work out in front of him and all that. And then all of a sudden we had a sidebar and he pulls me along and Pablo allows Vince to say hi to the group that he felt like out of the rookies he wanted Vince to talk to, and I was one of them. And I can kid you not, like I would never forget that because he he was so real. He was so full of life. He was so real. He told us how to work. He told us what to do and what not to do in the business. And I shared that picture. I know I did. I shared it. It was a picture of us. I had a Miami University t-shirt on, cut off, and he had the CCW shirt on, and we both ironically had sandals on. No pun intended to Matt Awesome, Chancleta man. But you know, it was beautiful, and before the night was up, everybody goes home and I got a chance to hang out with him. And he was hanging out with Pablo, and he goes, Pablo, what's up with this kid's name? We gotta change his name. Like Chris Swoosh is corny. I'm like, yo, what's up with you, man? Like, and he was like, you know what? And then Pablo was fortunate enough to ask Vince, so what should we name him? And we're going through names and all that, and he's like, you know what? I got it. And I'm like, what? He goes, you know who Benny Blanco is? I said, Benny Blanco. I'm like, the only one I know that I remembered at that point, at that time, was the producer. He goes, no, 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 no. Benny Blanco from Carlitos Way. A young, flashy kid that talks too damn much and never shuts up. That's you. You talk too much and never shut up. And so he was like, yeah, your name is Benny Blanco. And obviously it took a life of its own, as you can see. Because then 5 years later in the business, and that's me making 5 years in the business, I was reluctant enough and blessed enough to do 5 years in the business with Vince Steele, I was at that man's hip. I became his young boy. I became his protege. And I'm still am to this day. And to fast forward to the present day, to fast forward to what happened 2 days ago, we spoke about having a match together. And it was 5 years in the making for me because I always asked him, I said, listen, before you retire or before you think you're walking out of wrestling, I'm going to wrestle you. I know I'm going to die, but we going to wrestle. I was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this match. And he always be like, Benny, relax. It's levels to this. It's levels. And you're right here. And I'm right here. I'm like, man, listen, just because you big and I'm small don't mean. He's like, that's why. I don't want to squish you. I love you too much. I'm like, listen, I'm with whatever. And it just so happened so that thank God and thank you to Anthony Cole. He made my dream come true. And it just sucks. Like, oh man, I want to cry.
Patty, go right ahead. The one
Hey,
thing we've pushed for tonight is for a lot of us, this is our first time giving our thoughts after what happened. And no matter how you look at it, no matter how you spin it, it's still a tragic event. What happened? And I don't want to say unfortunately, but you're a part of history.
I know, but to be honest, like I hear you, I really do, and I love you guys for real. And I'm not saying this because I'm on here. I'm saying this because I really do love you guys. Like when I came back from Florida to New York to start basically over my wrestling career, I didn't know how New York and New Jersey was gonna take it. You know, because I've always heard stories about this particular territory and how hard it is, and Vince will always tell me, "Yo, when your time is up and and your number is called to come wrestle in New York and New Jersey, I hope you're ready because it's different, and the people in there are different." And he would talk about you guys, and there's stories and stories and stories that Vince would tell me about you guys. You know, the the situations he'll be in with you guys, the fun moments, the bad moments, the ugly moments, the pretty moments. But the one thing Vince will always say is he loved it. He loved being with you guys. And he made the sound of wrestling in New York and New Jersey like a fantasy. And I was like, yo, I gotta know how that feels. And I was blessed enough to do that. And it just sucks, guys. It really, really sucks because it's like I want to talk about Vince, and I am, but I want to talk about Vince while he's here, you know? And he is here, but he's not physically here. And it hurts because it's like every day of my life as I wake up, I gotta tell myself that, you know what, this is real. This is real life. Like I don't have my brother with me no more.
Believe me,
And
Penny.
it
Go ahead.
and it just hurts because it's like he was so excited that day. For some odd reason that day, that particular day, he was jolly as a motherfucker. Like, and I'm not taking that away from him because I love when I see him like that. And he literally was in the car with me, with Skywalker, max capacity, Dylon, and caveman and you know, and oh man, he was telling us like he feels bouncy. He feels like doing stuff from the top rope. And I'm like driving. I'm like, well, as long as your big ass don't try to fall on me, we good. He's and all the guys are like, nah, you're gonna take a splash. I'm like, no, I'm not. And so, we started laughing. And then when we got to the Mecca, oh man, he was so excited about the match because he helped four young guys, showcase BCW. And I honestly feel like BCW is one of the hardest shows to get on. How I know? Because I've been harassing Anthony Cole to get me on the show, like since the Puerto Rico days when I got to wrestle in Puerto Rico and he was with us. And I've told him like, yo, what is it? And it just so happened Vince helped me get him. And Vince, he he Anthony called Vince and said, Vince, what you want to do on the show? He was like, well, I want to help my man get on the show. And Anthony was like, who? He's like, Benny Blanco. He goes, okay. He goes, I want to have a match with Benny Blanco. He was shocked. He was like, wait, what? He thought Vince was lying. And he goes, no, I'm for real. I'm not laughing. I want a match with Benny Blanco. And he's like, you serious? You really serious? He's like, yeah. Why you keep asking? And Anthony Cole goes, no disrespect to Benny, but he's small. And you're extra big. Like, he's like, trust me, Cole, he got this, he got this. And reluctant enough, he was in my house, sitting on my couch and told me the news. And I was overjoyed. I was like, finally. But I was even more overjoyed that not only did I finally get to show my talents to BCW, but I I'm in the ring with my best friend, with my brother. Something that for the last 5 years of my career, I always wanted to happen. And it just so happened to also share the ring with my guys like Jeff Skywalker, Max Capacity. You know, I love those guys. And also for Dylon to get a chance to showcase his talents in that tryout match, which I think he did phenomenal in. And for also to have, for also to have Vince, get Caveman to come see a show. That was beautiful too. Cause he was able to have everybody that he loved share this one moment that we didn't know was gonna be his last moment. And
Yeah.
so, it just sucks. It doesn't suck. I don't mean like the whole situation sucks. It just sucks that the reality of life is that we all, not just me, because it's not about me, it's about all of us. We all have to move forward in life knowing that our humble giant is not gonna grace us with his presence anymore. And he is spiritually, but physically, it hit different. It hits different. And what hurts the most is that when we were in the gorilla, I got to hug him one more time and tell him that I love him and I thank him. And when I look back at him, he always did his famous thing where he has his gear on, he'll take a seat, make sure his boots is strapped on right, and he'll do that one little and then get up. And when I look back, I saw a beautiful glow around him. And if you know what glow I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And I didn't want to admit that. I was like, nah, that's not true. This is not true. And so I went out there. When they hit my music, I was as hype as I can be. Because I'm like, yo, I'm about to get it. I'm about to be face to face with the best of the best of the best that wrestling ever had to offer. And nobody's gonna take this moment from me. And it just so happens so in the middle of the match, and during the Tower of Doom, he tells us why he has us in the air. Hey boys, change of plans. Let's take it home. And it's thankful to Skywalker that he heard that. Because I didn't hear it, Max didn't hear it. And as we're laying on on the mat, I told Max, I told Sky, stay there. Stay there so Vince could get his moment in the sun. Because I knew something was wrong when I was told that he said take it home. And it's just unfortunate that he didn't come back home with us. He really went home. And it just hurts because when he picked me up and chucked me between the two ropes, he sat down and never got back up. And that bothers me because I swear to God, like every match I ever got to see Vince do, he's always getting back up. And it just so happens with that last match, he wasn't getting back up. And I shouldn't be I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because he went out the way he wanted to. And he sacrificed to give us that moment. It could have been any of us. It could have been anybody of his choosing to be in that match. And I was blessed to share that moment with my brother. Max Capacity was blessed to share that moment with him. Skywalker was blessed to share that moment with him. And that's something that between us three, we will always cherish and hold on to us dearly because Vince made a statement that day. He knew he was going home. He knew he was going home and he said, fuck it. You know what? If I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out doing what I love because that's exactly what Vince always said. Vince said, if I was ever to be called home in any type of way, I want to get called home doing what I love to do, and that's wrestle. And it just sucks that, it had to be that time. It could have been any other time, but it had to be that time. And I honestly just feel like I think it's because he blessed all of us with his final moments. Because I think he wanted to go home because he missed his mom so much. He 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 just felt like I think his body himself and him himself. I don't know because I'm not his brain, but if I could take a moment to put myself not in his shoes but in his moments, I honestly feel like he wanted to just let us know that he gave us everything and he wants to make sure that his love for all of us, every single one of us, regardless if you didn't like the man or not. And if you didn't like the man, then I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you because for to not like a man as humble, as beautiful, as disciplined, as caring, as grateful, and as outstanding as Vince Steele is, you gotta be fucking delusional to not like this man. Because this man loved everybody. This man's heart must have been bigger than anybody's body because for him to fit everybody in his heart is phenomenal. And I think that Sunday, he just felt what he felt. And he said, fuck it, I'm going to give it my all. And if I got to go out, I got to go out. But I'm going to go out. And I'm not going to be too cliche when I say this. I'm not going to say, oh, he went out in a blaze of glory. No, fuck that. He went out knowing that he loved everybody and everybody loved him back. And that, you know what? It's okay to rest now. It's okay to rest. Because he did what he had to do in and out the ring. He is a beautiful father to 3 boys. He was a beautiful brother to his family. He was a beautiful son to his mom that left him before he left her. And he just made sure if he could help you in and outside of wrestling, he would do that because he helped me at my lowest moments. I lived with the guy. At some point in my life, and I'm not trying to put my personal business out there, but at some point in my life, I was homeless. And I had nowhere to go. And Vince came and I hit up Vince. I said, yo, I'm going through it, yo, bro. This is not even about wrestling no more. I'm going through it. I need your help. I know you got a lot going on in your life, but can I ask for help? And he said, bro, what happened? I got nowhere to go. Well, you know what? Come over here. He didn't think about it. He didn't wait for a second. Vince Steele and his brother welcomed me with open arms. And in my lowest moments, Vince had my back. And this is not Vince Steele, the wrestler. This is Vincent Rosa, the man that helped me out and that was going through his own trials and tribulations and decided that, you know what, my little brother needs me more. So let me stop doing what I got to do to make sure he's okay. And now, as reality goes by, I'm not going to say that I can never talk to him because I'm going to always talk to him. But it's just going to suck that I can't pick up the phone and call him and hear his voice on that other line. It's going to suck that I can't take my car and drive 10 minutes to go pick him up so we could go get something to eat because your man was hungry. And we all know, Vince, after every show and everything, yo, what we doing? Let's go get something to eat. You know, and it's not going to happen no more. And it sucks. It sucks because God called a good one home. Like, I know we faced, and I'm not speaking for everybody because I don't speak for everybody. But if I could say this, I know we all faced our losses. I know we all suffered great losses. But I know I could say this. This one was one of the greatest losses that we ever faced. Why? Because that man, oh man, changed lives. He changed lives. He changed the sport of wrestling. He gave true meaning to friendship. He gave true meaning to how it is to be loyal. He gave true meaning that it's okay to fall down and get back up. And I'm telling you, when everybody said that Vince Steele is the best big man in the business, that wasn't a gimmick. That's real life. That's real life. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, but I had to
No,
get that off my chest.
No, you're good, dude.
you're good, Benny. I'll say this much. with what transpired on Sunday, you guys now have the chance now between you, Max, and Jeff to carry on his legacy and bring yourselves up to where he is. And you know damn well that BCW crowd will be behind the three of you no matter what. And I'll even go as far as saying this, Betty, this podcast is behind you guys as well.
And we thank you guys. We thank you guys. But I also want to say this because I know I left a few people out. I want to thank Nick Shin for doing everything he can to try to keep Vince, up and running. I want to thank Gianna, the girl that came to do a documentary on me and Ava.
Mm-hmm.
She dropped everything she can was doing to make sure that she was being helped because she slid in that ring. I want to thank Dylon because me and him took off Vince's boots. We ripped off his tape around his arms while Max Capacity was doing CPR and Jeff Skywalker was helping us. And I also want to thank everybody else that didn't just run out in a horrific fashion. I want to thank everybody that stood and made sure that our big man had a proper send off where he know that everybody stood there and everybody did everything they can to keep him breathing, to keep him moving. And unfortunately, like I said, God had other plans. And that's okay. And that is okay. Because we're all gonna get that call one day. But we all want to get that call one day and also be sent off the way he was because it was well deserved. And I also want to say that come this weekend, I was very iffy about going because of how I feel. You feel me? I didn't, it's not that I don't want to wrestle no more. I know everybody saw that on my thing. Oh, I don't want to wrestle no more. And no, it's not that. It's that I look at wrestling different now. And no one's going to tell me how to feel. You can't tell me how to feel. And I'm not going to tell anybody else how to feel. But what I'm going to say is I'm going to show up. And I just want everybody else to show up. And also, whatever services his family plans, when that time comes, I want everybody to show up too. Regardless if you know him or you didn't know him, just show up, show your love for him, show the proper respect that he deserves. Because when he was around, that was his thing. His thing was respect, respect. And he did anything that anybody ever asked for him. And the one model that he always lived by was shut up and listen. So I just want everybody right now in Vince's voice to shut up and listen. And come Saturday, let's have fun. Let's enjoy the show, but let's also remember Vince. And whatever services come through, let's go. Let's enjoy. Let's celebrate him. Because right now he don't want us to cry and be sad. He wants us to cry and rejoice and celebrate his name and celebrate the beautiful human being he was and he still is and forever will be. And I just want to say I love his family, because they're my family. I love I love his brother Gordo, the whole Shadow Wrestling Alliance staff. I want to say I love everybody that ever gave me an opportunity, and not because it was because of Vince or because I know Vince. I just want to say I love you guys and thank you for seeing what y'all see in me now. And if y'all see a little Vince Steele in me, then hey, that's good. Cause you know what? I thank that man. Cause he taught me what it is to shut up and listen. So I just want to say thank you for having me. And I really hope that, people take this time to really understand that life is not meant forever. Life is not long. It could be short, but also if do what you got to do in life. I'm not saying be the best person, be the best in everything you do, because we're not perfect. But just look at Vince, a man that came from the Bronx and grew up in poverty and was a wrestling fan and made his wrestling fan become a wrestling fan to becoming a full-time wrestler, and also became a legend in wrestling. That is a legend. 25 plus years in the business. He wrestled the best of the best. I could clearly say that half the guys that are signed right now had to come through Vince Steele just to go get that contract. And there's nobody that's going to sit there and say, no, Blanco, you're wrong. No, I'm right. Because if you go on YouTube and you watch his matches, some of the names that we see today on TV, he had those matches. And he could have been one of those guys, oh, I helped them. No, no. He just gradually moved forward and decided, I'm going to do what's best for me and how I'm going to do it. And so just show Vince the proper respect he deserves, because he would do the same if the tables were turned for anybody else. So I love you guys. I do, and I love everybody else. And thank you for checking up on me. I'm all right.
Brian, do you have anything that you want to add? Brian, are you there?
Oh, it went black.
I think he may have froze. But, Betty, I'm just going to say this. I've been doing this podcasting game for 13 years. And I've had difficult episodes before. And when everything transpired on Sunday, I knew that the best thing I can do was honor him by doing this tribute show. And I said this to Anthony Cole earlier, I wanted to do right by the big man. And I want to basically just say, to everybody who watched tonight, thank you for watching. I want to thank everybody who hopped on here. Amanda, which, by the way, Betty, actually, Amanda's here now. Actually, I want to bring her in quickly.
Hey,
Hello.
how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
But I want to thank Amanda for coming on, Brian for hopping on, everybody who hopped on. And I don't think I could have done this. This show was tough to do. I held back tears big time. But I'm just going to say this right now. That guy went out the best way he could. In the middle of that ring, performing in front of those fans, and put on a goddamn fucking match. And Vince, if you're watching this, buddy, you are missed. We all miss you down here.
Hold on. I'm going to stop you right there, John. It's not if, it is, he is watching it.
Yes.
Yes, he is, girl.
And I'll just add this part to it. And I don't know if Ryan actually came back. I want to just check one thing before. Oh, Ryan did come back. Okay.
Yeah, I was like texting. Yeah, for some reason I don't know what happened. It
all right.
crapped it on my end, but
right,
I heard mostly all of what my main man Benny had to say.
I'm just gonna say this much. I'm glad we did this. We had to honor the big man the best way we can. And now that I got corrected by Amanda, I'll rephrase what I was just saying. With Vince watching from up there, Vince, I hope we did you proud. And we're done with the crying. We're gonna go have some fun. We're gonna go remember you for the good times. But guys, if you're in that position, go take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said this at the start of the show, and I'll say this again as we wrap things up here. Life is too precious. And you don't realize how in one instance you're here and a split second later you're gone. So tell your friends, your family, you love them. Even if it becomes nauseating, tell them. Because there's a saying, the absence makes the heart grow fonder. You're going to miss them when they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And Vince, we all miss you. Anybody else have anything else they want to add before I do final wrap up here?
I do actually.
Go right ahead.
So I will say this, as someone who's known Vince for a long time, basically the entirety of my career, like everyone, including like Benny, you, John, Amanda, like everyone has said, he was literally a breath of fresh air in every locker room that you go into. He always loved helping out, up and comers. Always loved giving people the opportunities that they so rightfully have deserved, and always knew how to make every single person a star. Because he was never selfish. He always cared about others. He literally is was one of the best unsigned big men out there. And as Benny said, half of the guys you see on TV, they had to go through him. Vince, as someone who has announced for many of your matches at Ace and hung out with you numerous times in the locker room, you are an absolute breath of fresh air. You are definitely someone that, if anyone was ever having a bad day, you were there to lighten them up. And on a personal note, when my mother passed 5 years ago, you were one of the very first people to reach out to me and asking if I'm doing okay and anything I need to let me know. And I'm truly forever grateful for that. Vinny, big man, I love you to the bottom of my heart. I will love you to the end of time. You may be gone physically, but your legacy will never be forgotten. We love you, Vinny.
I love you, big man.
Yeah, everybody kind of said it. But guys, for everybody here, again, from Brii Combination to all, actually not even just Brii Combination, from everybody in the wrestling world, Vinny, we love you. You will be forever missed. The Mecca will not be the same without you, without hearing the Juggernaut music come in.
Ace will never be the same without you.
Yes. I'll put it this way. Independent wrestling in the Northeast will not be the same without him. But guys.
But you know what? Before we go, I hear that you're saying that indie pro wrestling in the East Coast would never be the same without him. But you know what's gonna happen though? It's gonna grow because of him.
Damn right.
I'm dead serious. And that's a drop the mic moment because
you're damn right.
I'm telling
guys.
That's right, Benny.
All right, guys, we're getting out of here now. I think we have talked about him a lot. And believe me, even though we may be done talking about him tonight, we're never going to stop talking about
Facts.
One,
Not him.
one last quick round of promotional things. Again, folks, this Saturday, Shadow Wrestle Alliance from Richfield Park, New Jersey. Y'all better be there, even if you have a major, party event or whatever you have, life event. Cancel that, postpone that until a later date, and come down to Shadow Wrestling Alliance. The following week, Ace Pro Wrestling in Teaneck, Hero Celebration. Y'all better be there too. Definitely his GoFundMe. Definitely,
Yes.
contribute to that.
Donate to that.
I think last time I checked, it's over almost $11,000 right now, which is insane. His pro wrestling tee store is still live, and all the proceeds goes towards his family. Just give any way you can to show love and support to Vinny's family, and also to continue the legacy of the Jurassic Juggernaut, the big man of professional wrestling, the remix himself, Vince Steele.
There we go. Amen to that.
All right, I'm gonna now put you guys on mute because I'm gonna do the last part now, or just be quiet for a second because I put up the last graphic, guys. From everybody here at the On the Ropes podcast, we want to send our condolences to the family, the friends, and the fans of the late, great Vince Steele. We appreciate everybody who watched tonight. We'll see you guys here next week.